All right, all right. On my way to the gym right now. Man, I swear I said this in the last video. All I ever seem to record is back day. And you can guess what day it is again today. It's back day. So I'm still going to run you guys to the session, maybe talk through it a little bit, give some pointers or things that I'm thinking about. There's a plot twist today, though. I forgot my headphones. So, going to be, what do the kids call it these days? Raw dogging it. I'm going to be raw dogging that workout. No headphones, haven't done that in a while. Realistically, it doesn't change anything, though. It's just a slight annoyance. So I'll have to listen to whatever the gym's playing today. But I'm going to get in there, get after it, and take you guys through it. Okay, so first exercise in is gonna be this unilateral pull down. Now, I was running the cables for a while, but my gym got this piece in. This is a Cybex piece right here, very old school one. So I've been using this for pull downs because it allows me to brace better. It has a pad to keep my legs under, which, setting it up on the cable with a bench doesn't really have that. I don't have that ability. So I've been giving this a run, been really liking it. So right now I'm gonna go into my top set. The goal is anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. If I can get a little bit more than that, obviously I will, as usual. Now, one thing I do when I set up this machine, because the path is a little odd, because you can work upper back on this if you want, but you can kind of modify your position where you're seated and your hand position to hit your lats. So I'll be grabbing on the neutral grip kind of down near the bottom. Also, when I sit down, you're going to see that I offset myself a little bit to align my torso and my arm path with the lat a little bit better. It'll also allow me to reach across my body as opposed to just going straight up and down, because the lats, they do actually attach in that fashion. So it's just a little bit extra that you can get out of the movement that way. Okay, so I did 2 top sets there in the 8 to 12 rep range. Now I'm going for my third set, which is my final set. It's also, deemed to the back off set. I'll be looking for the 12 to 15 rep range with this one. So I did lower the pin a little bit just so that I can land within my prescribed rep range. I'm also going to show you guys a different angle so you can kind of see what this looks like from the back, where my angle is in relation to my torso, because that's really how you're going to determine what part of the back you're hitting. Where the elbow goes really determines what part of the back is being worked. Now, unfortunately, I'm wearing a 4XL Dark Knight t-shirt, so it might be a little bit hard to see where my elbow is in relation to my torso, but I'm going to give it a try anyways. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, so hopefully you guys were able to see that. Hopefully it translates on the video. I'm gonna rest for probably 30 seconds a minute, go into my left side, which is gonna wrap this set up, and then I'll see you guys over on the next movement, which is T-bar rows. All right, it is time for a top set on T-bar. So I do 2 sets here in the 8 to 12 rep range, and then I do 1 set, which is back off, in the 12 to 15 rep range. So I'm gonna be giving this a try. Last time I got 8 reps, but the 8th rep was something that I deem as like a sloppy rep, so not a very good clean rep. So what I'm looking for today is to match, basically to get 8 reps, but have that 8th rep be cleaner. Now, if I'm able to go past that, obviously I will, but I'm just trying to give you insight onto how I look at my progressions within the logbook. So last time I notated when I got this weight for 8, I wrote a note that said last rep was sloppy, so that I know going into this session, if that last rep isn't sloppy, it is a progression. If I didn't write that note down there, all I would see is this weight for 8, and then the next week, that same weight for 8, which doesn't tell me, if I'm just looking at the numbers, oh, I didn't make any progress, like I'm stalling, stagnating. However, with that note, that gives me insight, it gives me context. Oh, the week before that, actually that 8th rep wasn't that good. And so if the 8th rep this week is very good, that tells me, okay, I'm doing my job, I'm doing what I need to. Oh, should have warned you guys to turn the volume down. I'll put that in the notes somewhere before I do the set. You'll see it pop up on the screen. That was a good set. So not only did I get 8 reps smoother than last week, obviously, but I got an extra rep, and I happen to think that 9th rep was pretty good, just based on feel. Now I'll go back and watch the tape, see how it looked. If I think it was sloppy, I'll write that down and say it was sloppy. If it's not, then I'll just leave it as is and say I got 9 clean reps here. So a couple more sets here. I won't show you the next set, but I'll show you the back down set. Okay, I'm about to go into my next or last working set. So lower the weight pretty significantly there. Again, I'm trying to work within the 12 to 15 rep range. Right before I start the set is also when I start sipping on my intra-workout Windex. So this stuff is like pushed by a lot of people as gospel. Look, you don't need intra-workout. You definitely don't need fancy intra-workout if you are using intra-workout. This is literally just Gatorade powder, okay? So you don't need all these super expensive things that supplement companies sell, okay? I'm not saying that it's not worth the money, but understand the level that you are at. Are you a top IFBB pro, competing in pro shows, competing to win pro shows, going to the Olympia? You have to like do the math, be a critical thinker, right? So do you need to be buying everything that they buy, having all the supplements that they have, doing meal prep companies, doing all that kind of stuff? Or should you just be saving your money, concentrating on the basics and just working really hard? Once you get to that level, maybe then you consider those things that might make you 0.5% better. But until then, concentrate on the 95%, the big rocks, the broad strokes. Those are the things that are gonna get you to the top where you can then justify other type of things like that. So quick little rant. I always gotta go on a rant. So I'm gonna start sipping this right now and let's get into this. All right, real quickly, before I start this, when I do a back off set like this, or a set in a higher rep range after having done heavier weight in a lower rep range, what I'm really looking for here is dialing in my form. Now, you might have seen the first set and said, that form looks really good. To me, that form was a bit sloppy. but I allow for that. I account for that. I know that I'm using heavier weight. I want to move heavier load. I want to expose myself to that kind of intensity per se, okay? But on my back off sets, I really want to concentrate on keeping things as tight as possible. So you'll see if you actually compare these two sets that this one is going to be a lot more controlled, and that's what I'm really going for here. Yep. Okay, so that's gonna wrap up T-bar. I'm gonna go over to cable rows. I got 3 sets over there, so I'll see you guys when I get there. Okay, so going into the cable row right here, this is super basic. I've been over this a bunch of times. I already went on a rant, so I'm not gonna go on another rant about why this is not a bad movement. 8 to 12 rep range is what I'm shooting for here. I've also slightly reworked my form on this for just utilizing a little bit more control. I've also started pausing in the contraction. It's not a huge pause, okay? It's like a slight pause in the contraction just so I can like cement ownership of the weight. So gonna go into this now. Oh yeah, one more thing. A cool thing, because this is like such an old piece right here, you can adjust the bench up and down. So I usually adjust it 1 notch up, which really helps me align my elbows more with my lats. So the lower it is, the higher I pull, whereas the higher the seat goes, obviously that makes the lower my pull go. So I find by going 1 up, that really lets me feel my lats extremely well. Yep. Okay, so that's 1 set down. No need to show all the sets for this. I'm just gonna wrap up here with 2 more sets, and I'll see you in the next movement. All right, last movement for back is gonna be a close grip lat pull down. So rather than the traditional lat pull down with the straight bar, which actually targets the upper back, using a close grip and in the manner that I'm going to do it, actually targets your lats. So this is a lat movement. It's gonna be 4 sets here, and it's gonna be 4 straight sets in the 12 to 20 rep range. So I'm not doing like top set, back off set, anything like that. Now, real quickly before I go into my actual working set, I wanna go over the most common mistake that I see with this movement, which I actually just corrected a client on and we've been working on, and we now have his pull down in a spot where he's actually hitting his lats. So the most common mistake with this one is essentially using too heavy of a weight to where you're not using your lats and you're using your shoulders, your chest, your arms, everything else to move the weight. So correct form is going to be with your chest up, driving the elbows down into the hips as far as you can. So from here, pulling chest up, elbows driving, and that's correct form here to target your lats. Now what I often see people getting carried away trying to move so much load and trying to progress the logbook, but letting their form deteriorate in order to progress the logbook. So a lot of people are pulling like this. You see my shoulders start rounding forward, my chest starts caving in, my elbows are no longer really digging into my sides anymore, they're more like out in front of me. Now this is not a movement for your back. This is pretty much everything else besides your back. You want to use your lats here, it's like this. And that means you're going to be using less loading than you usually do, probably less loading than you actually want to, but you're actually going to be hitting your back, growing your back, and eventually over time you'll work the weight up to where you were with that shitty form, except you'll have good form and actually be growing a back. Okay, so now I'm going to put it into practice. I'm going to do my actual working set. Okay, so another thing is you can see when it got really hard, so I didn't get that last rep right, but I didn't compromise my form in order to finish that rep. I could have let my shoulders round forward, let my chest cave in, and pulled the weight down with my arms and my shoulders. I could have done that, but that wouldn't have actually counted as a quality rep. It wouldn't have been contributing anything towards my back development. So I stayed in the set, is what I call it, where I just maintained my form until I couldn't move it with proper form, and that's the end of my set right there. So that's gonna be my first set. I'm gonna do my next couple sets and I'll show you guys what the last set looks like with a little bit lighter load. All right, going into my fourth and final set here now. In that last clip you said I said I was gonna be lowering the load, and that's because even though I'm doing straight sets, as fatigue rises while I'm doing my straight sets, in order to continue to land in my rep range, I need to titrate the weight down. So first set I did 135, next two sets I did 120. All those still kept me in my rep range. However, the last set of 120, I was at the bottom end of my rep range. So what I'm gonna do is knock it down another pin, go a little bit lighter, and then that way I'll titrate back up a little bit more, probably land maybe in like the 13 to 15 rep range with this one. All right, so with that last set right there, that's gonna wrap up the video. I do still have biceps, calves, and rear delts to do, but I don't really need to be recording that. That stuff is super straightforward. And I'm trying to keep this video on the shorter side as well, so no need to record that stuff there. If you guys made it this far, as always, I really appreciate the support. Hopefully you're able to take something away from this video that you can apply to your own training. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. So until the next time, I'll catch you guys. Peace.